What's going on, guys? It's Greg here, aka NYPrepper. It is Friday, September 8th, 2023, and I have some breaking news to share with you guys. Right now, it is 2:35 p.m. Eastern Time here in the United States, and today we have more nuclear war planes in the air. We have a B 52 nuclear bomber flying over Kansas right now, doing loops over central Kansas. And we also have a nuke sniffer plane doing loops over central Nebraska. So this is like probably the 30th day in a row that there's been some kind of nuclear warplane in the air. And just in the past week, we've seen nuclear bombers in the air almost every single day. And there was one the other day that shut its transponder off near Abilene, Texas, and it got aerially refueled. So this B 52 took off from Minot Air Force Base in North Dakota, and it went to central Kansas, and it's currently doing loops over central Kansas right now. Okay, very, very strange. And we also have a nuke sniffer plane that's been doing loops over North Platte, Nebraska, central Nebraska. Okay, these planes are used to detect traces of radiation in the atmosphere. So, absolutely insane, guys. The nuclear warplanes are continuing to fly round the clock now. And we also had a plane from the National Nuclear Security Administration land at the Pantex plant today in Texas. Okay, and if you don't know what the Pantex plant is, it's the only place in the US where nuclear weapons are assembled. Okay, that's where they actually put warheads on top of missiles. So it's a very, very important base, and it's a major nuclear war target. So if you live near the Pantex plant, you need to make sure you have a good nuclear war plan and a survival plan, and also a very good fallout shelter. And if you're close to the base itself, like just within a few miles, you need to evacuate if there's a nuclear war, because that base is going to get hit directly with multiple surface burst warheads. And likely you won't survive the blast unless you have a very good blast shelter. But this is very interesting, guys, because just 2 days ago, the U.S. tested a Minuteman III ICBM with 3 test warheads on it. And the Minuteman III missiles are only supposed to have one warhead, as per the New START treaty that Obama signed with Putin in 2012. And Putin pulled out of that treaty this year. And so now the U.S. is probably either in the process of up-arming all of our Minuteman IIIs, maybe they already completed up-arming them, or they're thinking about up-arming them. And so that's probably why this National Nuclear Security Administration plane went to the Pantex plant. I'm sure it's related to that test. And normally we're supposed to have just one warhead per each of our 400 Minuteman III ICBMs. But because Putin pulled out of the treaty, we can now hold 3 warheads on each one of our 400 Minuteman III ICBMs. So that's a significant increase in firepower. We can also up-arm our Trident missile tubes on our Ohio class subs. Our Ohio class subs normally can carry 24 Trident missiles, but we removed 4 from each one of our 14 Ohio class subs. So we can bring those Trident missiles back, 4 per each of the 14 Ohio class subs that are made for launching the Trident missiles. We also have 4 Ohio class subs made for launching Tomahawk missiles. So things are escalating, guys. Okay, Russia and the U.S. are up arming their arsenals. Russia deployed their RS-28 Sarmat liquid-fueled super heavy first strike nuclear weapon a few days ago. Now the U.S. is potentially up arming all of our Minuteman III ICBMs, nuclear bombers in the air every single day, doomsday planes in the air every single day. I mean, it's just crazy, guys. And we had some reconnaissance activity in Eastern Europe earlier this morning and overnight. There were two reconnaissance planes, RC-135 rivet joints, that flew through the Baltics and along the Finnish-Russian border. And here's one of them that flew along the Finnish-Russian border and near St. Petersburg. And then here's one that flew along the Baltic countries and along their border with Russia and Belarus. So they're monitoring this area like crazy, guys. And Jens Stoltenberg made a comment yesterday in Brussels about the Ukrainian counteroffensive. And he said the Ukrainians are gradually gaining ground. They are moving forward. No one said this is going to be easy. We also have some breaking news that Ukraine, the US, and Romania will be holding joint military exercises in the Danube Delta and in the Black Sea. The Sea Breeze 23.3 exercises will take place from September 11 to 15. Military personnel from Bulgaria, France, Great Britain, and Turkey will also take part in them. So that's huge, guys, okay? Ukraine is basically taking part in military exercises now with NATO, okay? Sea Breeze 23.3, and it's going to start next week, Monday through Friday next week. And I'm sure this has something to do with that Russian drone, or actually Iranian drone, that Russia used that crashed in Romania, okay? And I showed the video footage of the crash site in my update yesterday. Initially, Romania was in denial mode. They were saying that this was fake news, that this didn't happen. And then a couple hours later, they realized that, people were catching on, that, they can't hide it. There was a huge, area where this drone detonated and burned an entire section of a forest. And there's a town nearby. And now Romania is evacuating that town. So, guys, the war is starting to spill over into NATO countries now. Okay. And NATO downplayed it. Jens Stoltenberg made a comment yesterday about it. I reported on that, basically saying that, oh, it was just an accident. How do you know it was an accident? How do you know it wasn't Russia testing NATO's resolve to see what our response would be? Okay, we don't know if it was accidental or intentional. We have no idea. We also have some breaking news that Belarus wants to terminate its participation in the Treaty on Conventional Forces in Europe. And specifically, they mentioned Poland and the Czech Republic as reasons why. And apparently, the Belarusian parliament is already drafting a legal document that they're going to vote on. If you don't know what the Treaty of Conventional Forces in Europe is, you should look it up. It was a treaty signed at the end of the Cold War in the early 90s between Russia and Warsaw Pact countries and NATO, and basically put limits on the number of tanks and artillery and infantry that can be deployed in the European theater. And so Belarus basically wants to pull out of that so they can increase the number of weapons that they have deployed. And Belarus received 12 Iskander missiles just about a week and a half ago from Russia, and each one of those Iskander missiles can carry nuclear warheads, okay? So Belarus is arming up. I want to just share some interesting pictures and videos with you guys. So here we have a picture coming from Russia. This is in Moscow, and it shows the Moscow customs office on fire. Okay, something caused the fire at this customs office in Moscow. It's like a headquarters for the customs service in Russia. So that's pretty serious there. Who caused it? What caused it? I have no idea, but very interesting. And then here we have some video footage coming from southwestern Russia in Bryansk, and it shows some kind of a building owned by a chip company, a company that makes chips, okay, like microchips. And this building is burning partially. Okay, it looks like there's like a black stain on the side of the building here. So I don't know if it was hit with a drone, a Ukrainian drone, but Ukraine is clearly targeting Russia now. They're sending these drones into Russian territory, deep into Russian territory, like the ones they launched at Pskov near Estonia. We also have some breaking news that North Korea has launched an attack sub that has 10 launch tubes for tactical nuclear missiles. Here's a picture of Kim Jong un at a ceremony uh, when they launched this sub. And here's another picture. It's a pretty big sub. Apparently, it has 10 launch tubes for tactical nuclear missiles. Very concerning. Okay, North Korea is continuing to expand their capabilities. And I want to just give you guys an update on Hurricane Lee. Right now, Hurricane Lee is a Category 5 hurricane with a minimum central pressure of 942 millibars. Last night, it reached a minimum central pressure of 926 millibars, which is ridiculously low. And it had maximum sustained winds of 165 miles per hour. Okay. So, absolutely insane. This storm is just really strong, and it's moving over open water right now. There's nothing in its way. Open water, no wind shear, very warm water temperatures. This thing could explode to ridiculous strength. And, late last night, the National Hurricane Center had this thing strengthening to 180 miles per hour, guys. So, if the National Hurricane Center is saying something, you can add an extra 10 to 20 miles per hour on top of what they're saying, because they usually downplay. Okay. Here's the latest forecast cone from the National Hurricane Center. They're not sure where this thing is going to go yet. Is it going to curve northward and hit the northeast, or is it going to go straight? A lot of the models are showing this thing curving northward and going towards the northeast. We'll have to wait and see. It's too early to tell, but there will be coastal impacts along the entire eastern seaboard from Florida to Maine, with rip currents, swells, surf. Okay, high surf. So you need to be very safe if you're going to be going to the beach the next couple of days, or if you're going to be going on a small boat, you need to watch out for swells. I want to show you some of the latest buoy data from the nearest buoy to this storm right now. And you can see that the skies are partly cloudy, and you can see that the waters are getting choppy here. Okay, but this buoy has been registering waves of 8.2 feet now, and before they were at 5 feet. It's still pretty far away from the hurricane. It's still probably over 200 miles from the hurricane, but this particular buoy is right in the path of the hurricane, and there's multiple buoys in the path of the hurricane. So as this hurricane gets closer to these buoys, I'll show you guys, what kind of wave heights are actually there, and how powerful this storm really is. Besides just numbers, we'll have some visual things here that we can look at. But that's pretty much it for this one, guys. Make sure you guys are getting prepared. Things are continuing to escalate between Russia and NATO. This war is not ending anytime soon. It's continuing to spill over into NATO countries. And, things are escalating. Nuclear warplanes and doomsday planes in the air every single day. Um, something could be happening early next month around that emergency alert system test, October the 4th, 2:20 p.m. Eastern time. You don't test the emergency alert system nationwide for no reason, okay? Um, that's what we would do if there was a nuclear war and the government had to notify everybody about where the missiles were landing and at what time. So it's obviously very important, and they want to test it. But with the U.S. uparming its arsenal, Russia uparming its arsenal, all these doomsday planes and nuclear war planes, now a nationwide emergency alert system test. So get prepared. Check out my nuclear war survival videos. The Bible says that nuclear war is inevitable. Okay, when that's going to happen, I don't know. Okay, but you should be prepared for it. Check out some of my nuclear war survival videos. I'll leave a link in the top right corner. You can also check out my website, NYPrepper.com. There's a link in the description below this video, and I have a bunch of prepping and nuclear war reference articles that you can read, including nuclear war targets in Europe, in the US, and in Canada, and a bunch of other things. So check it out. It's free. And other than that, take care, God bless, and don't forget the 3 Ps: prepare, practice, and persevere.